Hello, welcome or welcome back to the Yarn and Yarns YouTube channel. My name is Angela and all of the places you can find me should be linked in the description box below this video. Here on the channel you'll find me chatting about my adventures in knitting, spinning, crochet, weaving, all of that good stuff. But today I have for you another update video on the socks for West Midlands Ambulance Service sock appeal. So if you have followed the channel for any length of time, you'll know that back at the beginning of the year my dear friend Jeanette launched this appeal to try and get between 400 and 500 pairs of socks to donate to staff at one of the ambulance service hubs that her daughter works at. And back at the start of the year I chatted about this on the channel and invited folks to start knitting socks to help with that appeal or to donate yarn. And I have popped up a couple of update videos throughout the course of the year connected to that, because so many wonderful folks have donated yarn. So I wanted just to keep accountable and also to share any socks that get sent to me, share them off here on the channel so that we can all delight and enjoy in the wonderful knitting that's happening as part of the Yarn and Yarns community for that appeal. So yeah, it's been a couple of months since I've done an update video. I will hopefully be going to actually see Jeanette later on this month. It's the 2nd of August as I'm recording this first segment, and I think we're planning to meet up hopefully for a day on the 20th of August. So later in this video I shall be sharing some socks that I have knit and also some socks that I have received before I take those to Jeanette. But I'm hoping to actually maybe knit a pair or two more before then. So yeah, I thought I would start this video with maybe a little bit of a knitting vlog, because I haven't done that as part of this series of videos yet, so I thought you might enjoy that. So I have just literally finished, or almost finished, boxing up the next sort of donation of yarn that I've received to send off to Charlie, who is Cranky Lady. And Charlie has so kindly been cranking up some donated sock yarn into sock tubes, and then myself and some other volunteers have been adding heels, toes and cuffs into those tubes to make completed socks. So I'm just about to send off a package to Charlie for the next lot of sock tubes, but at the moment I know Charlie is super busy, so it might be a few weeks before I get that box back and can start working on the heels, toes and cuffs again. So in the meantime, I don't want my needles to be idle in pursuit of this wonderful cause for donations. So I am going to start a pair of socks hopefully later on today, maybe tomorrow. But I am going to use some lovely yarn that has recently been sent to me by the lovely Caroline of Colourful Creativity. So Caroline sent me a box including some finished socks, which I'll share later in the video. But she also sent me 2 bags, not one, but 2 bags of scraps and leftovers. The idea being that I could use these for heels, toes and cuffs. However, there are some yarns in these bags that are quite sort of substantial leftovers. Let me try and hide my face and get the camera to focus on in. There are quite a few sort of balls like that. There's also a couple that have still got the ball bands on. So I'm going to have a sort through this morning of the bags that Caroline sent. Some of them I will probably wind up and send in the next batch. I think I'm going to have one more batch after this current batch to send to Charlie. So I'm going to weigh some of these balls that Caroline has sent me. If they're 50 grams or close to, then I'll probably get them cranked up. But I'm also looking for something that I can hand knit today as well. In these little bags of leftovers, I have noticed, sorry for the crinkly noises, but I've noticed, let me just try and grab one out so I can show you what I mean. There are a couple of really small sort of leftover pieces of yarn. doesn't want to focus on the arm, wants to focus on my hand or my face. There we go. So these I know are going to be too small to use as heels, toes and cuffs. I could save them and try and make a scrappy pair of socks, but I think with these really small ones, when Charlie cranks up the tubes, she puts a tiny little bit of waste yarn to get the sock machine started, and then sometimes she puts waste yarn between the different colourways to separate them. So if I have any of these scraps are like a gram or two, then I think I might separate these out, and I tend to send a bag of scraps to Charlie as well, to help her when she's cranking, because otherwise she's using potentially her own yarn to use as scraps between the socks. So I'm sure Caroline won't mind me using some small bits for that purpose. So yeah, I thought I would just crack on with that this morning, and maybe share with you some of the results of my sorting escapades. So and then at the end of the clip, then hopefully I will also be casting on some socks from something in this donation bag. So thank you, Caroline, for the amazing donation of both finished socks and your leftover yarns. Okay, that didn't take long at all. I've sorted out, look at all that wonderful yarn from Caroline. So I've got this teeny tiny little collection of scraps down here. Oops, sorry for the jogging. And I'm going to add that to my bag of scraps that I've been saving, and I'm going to pop that in the box that I'm sending off to Charlie today. I've got 4 skeins of yarn here that are all 40 grams plus, so I'm going to wind those up and they will go off in the final box of yarn donations to Charlie later on in the year. So I'm just going to move those out of the way for the time being. This bag here is all scraps that are big enough for heels, toes and cuffs, or maybe some scrappy socks later in the year. So there's quite a large bag of yarns in there. And then finally, I've got this little selection over here. Move this tea bag out of the way. There's 2 quantities of, that looks like West Yorkshire Spinners Robin, which between them amount to just over 50 grams. So I could definitely get a pair of socks out of those. And then I've got these scraps which are between 40 and 50 grams. And these are ones that I think I'm just going to keep and hand knit. Or if I don't get time to hand knit them, then maybe I will put them in the next box for cranking. We'll see what we get time for. But I'm going to pick from these 4 different quantities for the socks that I'm going to cast on today. Okay, so I have a plan. I have just wound up the balls that are going in the final box to Charlie in a few months' time. I've separated out the rest of my yarn, and I have picked out a project for me to cast on. So I am going to cast on using this amazing skein of Neon Wonderfulness. I have most recently hand knit a pair of socks from a sock blank that was also donated by Caroline in the last box that she sent, and I have 2 9-gram skeins left from that sock blank. So 9 grams should get me toes and heels, so each one of these should be a toe and a heel. So I am going to pair these together because this neon has some flecks of pink in. So I'm going to do the cuff just in the main colour. There's 50 grams almost, or just over I think, of this one left. So I'm going to do cuffs and obviously the main body of socks in that, and then I'm going to put contrasting toes and cuffs from this leftover from the sock blank. So hopefully that should use up what's left of the sock blank as well and make a really fun and funky pair of socks. So I'm going to grab a pair of sock needles and cast this on. I need to pop to the post office this afternoon to drop that box off for Charlie and take a couple of orders for Yarn and Yarns as well. I haven't done a walk yet, it's getting on for mid-afternoon, so I might grab a spare project bag, a pair of needles, take one of these balls along with me and maybe walk home via the beach and cast on at the beach maybe. Made it to the beach, have some obnoxiously pink ice cream which is dripping everywhere. It's quite overcast but it's nice and warm, and it's quite busy down here today, but I found a quiet spot. I'm gonna finish my ice cream and then get started on my knitting. I've just done the post office run, so what better way to reward yourself than with ice cream, which is melting everywhere. forgot to bring my tripod with me, which is a little bit frustrating, but I've done my best to record me starting this project. I don't know if you can see behind me, look at those dark, moody clouds, and actually there's a few spits of rain starting, but nothing is darkening my knitting project. Look at the amazing bright colours in this yarn. I can already tell this is going to be so hard to give away, but I want to keep these socks, but I'm not going to. They are for donation. So I think I'm going to knit a few more rows, see if this rain shower passes, and then carry on for a bit of walk and head home. Oh, before I go, I think I've decided to do a waffle pattern on the leg of these socks, just to make it a little bit more interesting for me to knit, and then I'll do a plain foot. So waffle pattern is basically a 4-row pattern repeat, 2 plain rows and then 2 rows of knit 2 purl 2. So hopefully that'll give a nice bit of texture to the leg of these socks and just make the knitting slightly more interesting for me. So I'm sure these socks will fly off the needles. Good morning, lovelies. I thought I would just check in. It's Tuesday morning, so I cast my sock on yesterday, and somehow overnight it seems to have knit itself. So yeah, let's just get the camera to focus in on that. I knit the leg last night, and today, work-wise, I'm working on some editing for some YouTube videos that I recorded yesterday. I recorded and started recording for quite a few videos yesterday, so I'm sat on my laptop doing some editing, and while I'm doing that I'm also working on this sock. So yeah, this sock is flying off the needles. I said yesterday that I was going to do the sort of waffle pattern on the leg and then maybe a plain foot, but I'm really enjoying doing the waffle pattern, so I might just carry on that down for the rest of the sock. But yeah, at this rate, this sock might be finished today, but I do have other projects that I need to work on, so yeah, we shall see. But I thought I'd just do a quick check-in. It's been a few days since I checked in for this little sock knitting vlog, so I thought I would catch up with you. In all honesty, I cast off my first sock the day after I cast on. I just could not put this project down. So I have a completed sock to share with you. So yeah, I just used a waffle stitch pattern, which is 2 rows of plain knit and then 2 rows of what is basically 2x2 rib. I was going to stop when I got to the foot. I was just going to do a plain foot, but I was enjoying the patterning so much that I decided to carry it down the foot. And I am really pleased with how the contrast of that sort of leftover sock blank, the pink from that, looks in the contrast heels and toes. I did, because I was so obsessed with knitting that first sock, I did break one of my sock knitting cardinal rules. So I think you hear a lot spoken on YouTube and in the knitting community about second sock syndrome. A lot of people enjoy knitting their first sock and then not so keen on the second sock. However, I've never really had a problem with second sock syndrome, but to make sure that I don't, I always sit down to finish the first sock and give myself enough time to cast the second sock on straight away. That way, in my head, I can definitely see it as a whole project rather than, oh, I've finished this sock, so therefore I have finished a thing and I don't want to make another thing exactly the same. So I kind of use that tool to help any inklings of second sock syndrome. However, in this case, I knew that if I cast on my second sock straight away, I just wouldn't get anything else done, because yeah, I was completely obsessed with knitting that first sock. I was just enjoying it so much. I'm going to cast on my second sock and hope that I don't become quite so obsessed as I did with the first one. It's Monday. I was just about to head out for a walk. It seems like there's blue skies everywhere, apart from over our house. You see that? Blue skies. So why do we have rain? It's stopped raining, so I have been able to get out after all, which is absolutely lovely. I think I mentioned earlier it's Monday and my work day today is going to be a lot of filming and editing. I think I've got a couple of orders to pack that have come in over the weekend on the website, so I'll do those and take those to the post office this afternoon. Post office on a Monday morning is to be avoided if possible. So yeah, I've come down to the beach. I'm trying to finish a weaving video that I've been filming for a couple of weeks. So that's the main aim, but if the weather is kind and it stays dry, then hopefully I should have plenty of time down here now. High tide was early this morning, so I've got plenty of beach time. Don't have to worry about getting swallowed up by the sea. But yeah, I've brought my breakfast down. It's a bit of a late breakfast, and before I start filming my weaving I thought I'd get on and do a bit more knitting on my socks. So it's 9 p.m. this afternoon. Oh, honestly, I've been trying to get my July wrap-up video posted onto YouTube, and yeah, it's taken all afternoon with one technology fail and another. So I'm just trying for the second time to get it up onto YouTube. I don't know if it's going to go up tonight, but I have been knitting away. So I'm about to pop in the toe. I've finished the foot, flicking myself in the eye with my needle. So yeah, I finished my foot and I am about to pop in the toe for my second sock. So I am not going to bed before this is done. I'm probably going to be up till midnight trying to sort this video and YouTube malarkey out anyway, but I'm sure it won't take me that long to get this toe in. And then hopefully I'll come back in the morning and show you a finished pair of socks. My socks are finished, which means it is time to wrap up the vlog part of this vlog. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever, does it? You know what I mean. So yes, I have a pair of socks finished from this lovely yarn that was kindly donated by Caroline. And this yarn was dyed by Caroline herself, but it's no longer one of her colours because unfortunately the base that she dyes it on is no longer available. Anyway, as you might remember, I used the waffle pattern, the waffle stitch pattern, and yeah, not much else to say really, I guess. I popped in a contrast of leftovers from a sock blank also donated by Caroline. And there are two socks, I promise. So yeah, I have, I tell you, it's really warm up here, digressing. Popped up here because my sock blockers are up here and whoo, it is hot. Anyway, not only have I finished that pair of socks, I've also started the next one. I'm not going to do any more vlogging, but hopefully I'll get to show you these as a finished pair before this video is done. It's about 10 days now, I think, before I hopefully will be meeting up with Jeanette. So I think I've got time to knit up at least one more pair of socks. So this is what I've got on the needles so far. Again, this was another from the donation bag that Caroline sent, and I had the teeniest tiniest little bit of that pink sock blank left, so I decided to put a little stripe in the cuff. It means a few more ends to weave in, but hopefully I'm going to be using every last bit of that sock blank, which is really fun. So yeah, I'm just sticking plain vanilla for this one, and yeah, as I say, hopefully by the time I am ready to film the final part of this video, which will just be a little rundown of the socks that I am going to be taking to Jeanette to donate. Hopefully these will be a finished object to share with you as well. So yeah, I guess you're going to find out right now and I'll find out in 10 days or so. So the time has come to share all of the finished socks that I'm going to be hopefully handing over to Jeanette in a couple of days time. So I've got a mix of socks here that were both sent in, donated by others, and some that I've knit myself. So yeah, I hope you are ready for a wonderful sock parade. So I'm going to start first with the socks that have come to me for donation from other folks. So as luck would have it, timing wise, I received a wonderful package today. It was actually containing a birthday gift from the lovely Angela and Andy of Attic Spin Dye. But Angela had also knitted a pair of socks for this appeal. So I'll be showing off my birthday gift at some point, probably in one of my roundup vlogs, because the yarn that they sent to me is just absolutely stunning. But we're not here to talk about that, we're here to talk about socks. So Angela so very kindly knit this pair of beautiful socks. I believe this looks like it might be a drops yarn. Maybe you can let me know in the comments below, Angela, but it looks like a drops colourway that I think I recognise. So I'll move these forward so the camera can zoom in a bit. So they are absolutely beautiful, so thank you so much, Angela. I'm sure that whoever gets these in the gifting will absolutely love to have their feet wrapped up nice and cozy in those. And then on to a big pile of socks that came to me via the lovely Caroline of Colourful Creativity, and I have socks in my box from Caroline, from both Caroline and her mum. So I know that Caroline knit this lovely pair of socks which has a beautiful cable and lace motif down the front. So let me show you that. So pretty. And the colour is really lovely too. So I know that Caroline knit these and donated them, so again I'm sure they will be treasured by whoever gets to take those ones home. Got interrupted then, I've lost my train of thought. So not sure what I said in the last clip, but these socks that I'm about to show you were knit by Caroline's lovely mum, Anka. So there are, I think, 7 pairs of socks altogether. So first off, this lovely large pair of socks in these beautiful greys. So they're going to keep someone's feet lovely and warm. And then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pairs in this lovely style that she knits with a ribbed leg, which means they're going to fit all sorts of shapes and sizes without any trouble at all. So yeah, I will quickly show you those. So pair 1, and these are all different sort of lengths in foot by the looks of it. Pair 2, and then 3, number 4, 5, and the last pair in this style, pair 6. Gorgeous. So that's 9 pairs already that I shall be taking and giving to Jeanette on Friday. So I shall make sure I wrap those up and put them in bags so Jeanette knows who the donators are. Just had to pause again and run off and find a pair of socks that I'd forgotten to bring over, my most recent finish. So yeah, now for the socks that I have made, either knitted entirely from scratch or converted from the sock tubes that Charlie's cranked for us. So the first pair is the pair that you saw me, I think you saw me, cast on last, earlier on in this vlog, I think, maybe, hopefully, otherwise this won't make sense. But yeah, I knit a pair of small socks using this lovely yarn that was donated by Caroline. So just for a small foot. I knit this to the recipe that I would use for my mother-in-law, James's mum. She wears a UK size 4 foot, so quite a nice dainty small pair of socks there. So those are the last ones that I finished up. And then earlier on in the vlog you saw me knitting these waffle socks, so I just briefly show those. Yours got a bit squished. So again, a combination of yarns that were donated by Caroline. Let's get the camera to show those off, and they were so much fun to knit. I really enjoyed those. The last pair that I knit from scratch you would have seen in my July wrap up. These were the pair of socks that I knit while James's parents were visiting, and I used the Red Robin pattern by Helen Stewart to knit these, which has got this glorious texture pattern on it. And it's a pattern by Helen Stewart, who is Curious Handmade. I knit myself a pair of those a couple of months ago and really enjoyed that pattern, so decided to knit a pair to donate to the Sock Appeal. And then finally, the pairs that I have been converting from the sock tubes that were cranked by the amazing Charlie, who is Cranky Lady. I'll just quickly show those to you, as I think you'll have seen most of these before on previous wrap-up vlogs. So this is the West Yorkshire Spinners Pheasant colourway, and if my memory serves me rightly, this yarn was donated by Elizabeth, and the contrast that I used, the blue, for the heels, toes and cuffs, that was kindly donated by Emma of Eldenwood Craft. So there's that pair, and then I've got a few, this was I think West Yorkshire Spinners again. Oops, no, wrong pair. I've got 2 pairs of these and I've messed up the, there we go. This green stripy sock yarn, again from West Yorkshire Spinners, I believe. And this yarn I think was donated by the lovely Kate, so thank you for that, Kate. And I managed to get 2 pairs out of that one sock tube. Where is the other sock? Need to locate that. It's probably in my basket over there, but I've got another pair from the same tube, which I put the pink contrast heels, toes and cuffs, so I need to locate the other one for those. There is a pair, believe me. I've got this lovely pair of green socks, I think was a Drops colourway, and I believe that was donated by Sean, although I'm losing track a little bit of who donated which yarn, so I apologise for that. But I made a big long sort of knee-high pair for a larger foot from that one sock tube. I did the same for this blue colourway, which I believe is the same kind of Drops yarn. So again, I made a long sock for a larger foot out of that. And then I've got one more, which is another pair from the Pheasant tube from West Yorkshire Spinners, this time with a burgundy contrast for the heels, toes and cuffs. So I'm just going to try and locate the second sock from this pair. Oh, found it. Just dropped on the floor. And I'm going to have a quick count up of all of those pairs, so I can let you know how many I'll be taking to Jeanette this week. So that's 18 pairs by my count that will be passed on to Jeanette this week, and I think the first box that we sent off were about 25 pairs, so we're fast approaching 50 pairs donated by the Yarn and Yarns community for the Sock Appeal, which just makes me so happy. And there's plenty more to come as well. I've sent off, as I mentioned earlier in the video, the next box of yarn for cranking. I'm going to be casting on for another pair of knit socks while I'm waiting for the cranking to be done and that to come back to me. And then I've got at least one more box of yarn that I'm going to be sending off to Charlie. And then I think after the next box goes, I will call that a cut-off, because we're already fast approaching September and we need the socks to be done by December. So there'll be many more pairs, I'm sure, of socks that you'll see from me for this appeal over the next few months, because I think things are going to ramp up even more now to try and push through to the end of the year and get as many socks as we can for Jeanette to take to one of her local ambulance service hubs. Thank you once again to anyone who has donated yarn, who has donated socks, who is currently knitting socks. Every single pair helps, and yeah, I'm just so thrilled at how much support that I've had, that I can obviously pass on to Jeanette, and her lovely appeal from folks here in the Yarn and Yarns community. I just cannot thank everyone enough, from, as I say, everyone who's donated yarn, socks, who's been cheering us on from the sidelines. Yeah, it means a lot to me that there's been so much enthusiasm and involvement from the community for this sock appeal. Right, so it is finally time for me to wrap up for this video. I hope you have enjoyed this little sock extravaganza, and I expect there'll be at least one, if not two more videos in this little series before the year's end. But until the next sock update, I'll be back again before then with some other making content here on the channel. So I hope you will join me for the next video. Until we do get to spend time together again, I hope you get to do some of the things that you enjoy. Great big woolly hugs to you all. Bye for now.